So control to me, I actually set up control over 15 years ago. And the rationale behind setting up control was to have an independent function who could sit above the business. But not as independent as internal audit, because I wanted control to have a good relationship with the business but yet be independent. So to me, control is a very key function that oversees and supervises the business but also works with the business. Control is over 15 years. It first developed in Ireland 15 years ago and has now developed to the offshore locations. And as we've moved more business offshore, I think it was really important to have control teams both in India and Manila. Control to me is also taken added importance now that they have now moved to take away some of the work that risk used to do. So they've moved to the overseeing the first line of defence, and they are part of the first line of defence. So to me, the control team, where they add value is that first of all, the objective is that they are proactive and they seek to find out areas where there are potential risks in the business. Secondly, they add in a consultative capacity, they support the business on areas that may be new in terms of processes or regulations. Thirdly, also, when errors do occur, the added value of control is that they can go in and independently review the business, and they can make recommendations, and they can also follow through those recommendations. So control is not only a team who prevent or seek to prevent errors. When errors do occur, their job is to ensure that they remediate and close out that further risk of an error occurring again. So
has been collaborative. They were able to help us, in mitigating the risks and making sure that our controls are in place. And at the same time, we were able to address some issues that initially we're not aware of. They have also helped us in addressing the gaps with our home location, in making sure that all of the process and controls are in place in both locations.
Control team is very important in every organization since they authenticate the effectivity of the controls in each process. They validate if these controls are really implemented, and they advise if how to improve these such controls.
It helps us maintain high level of accuracy in a daily fast-paced work environment.
Hello everyone, my name is Diane Samaco and I'm a team leader of the client expenses team. So I've been working with the controls team ever since the start. So I was lucky enough to be interacting with Fiona, with Tessa, and especially with Karen when the control team was established here in Manila. So they have been a breeze to work with all throughout. At the start, I was thinking that, this is controls testing. It would entail a lot of work again for our team on top of our BAU. But I don't know how the guys manage it in the control team. All we had to do was to give them a process walkthrough and then guide them on how we save our documentations, and then give them the universe of our data, and they select the samples and they do everything else with very little impact to our BAU. They've also helped us in a lot of ways. They provided us a fresh perspective with regards to the control environment of our team. What I also really appreciate is that aside from testing just the Manila process, they also gave us a bigger picture view of the entire client expenses process by also testing the processes of our home location. And aside from that, when they identify gaps, they also give us recommendations, and they ensure that they follow through on those recommendations until they are closed.
Working with the control team here in Manila, well, it's been interesting so far. There's been a lot of support. They get involved with the operations a lot more than I've seen in other organizations. So far, it has been very productive, and the support in terms of dealing and closing out the incidents and the preventive controls has been, has kind of evidenced that they want to work very closely with us and they want to work with us rather than as a separate function, which is an extremely good way of moving forward. And I look forward to working with them and making sure our processes are that much more